Yo, what up everybody? It's me, Fitness65. I'm off today at work and I just thought I'd make a video since I took a day off of work today, well, just to relax and be energized for work tomorrow. I was gonna do something different, which was gonna be a non-wrestling video today, but someone requested me to do a top 25 of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time, so I thought I'd do that video. So this is pretty much a video request from Eric Munoz 55. He wanted me to do a video of my top 25 WrestleMania matches of all time, and I promised him I was gonna do it whenever I got to it. But since I have free time, decided to do that video today. And since WrestleMania is around the corner, which is gonna be Sunday, and I'm gonna be doing a predictions video, I just thought I'd do this. And knowing this is gonna be a two-part video, might as well do it. So this is just gonna be that video. So today, like I said, WrestleMania 20, my top 25 WrestleMania matches of all time, just in my personal opinion. I mean, there's gonna be people making comments saying, "Oh, why would you put these matches where they're at, and why do you have this as this number and this and that?" This is just my opinion, and this is just all based on my opinion and why I feel these matches are in my top 25. So yeah, this is gonna be probably a 2 or 3 part video, since this is gonna be a long list and it's gonna be a lot of explaining in this video. And then, of course, I got a WrestleMania 26 predictions video, which I'm gonna probably be doing Friday or Thursday, so look out for that video. So let's jump right into this video. We start off at number 25, which is probably one of my favorite matches, and from WrestleMania 5. It's between the Rockers and the Twin Towers. Now, many people are gonna be saying, "Why would you put this match up there?" Because it wasn't really that good. To me, I like this matchup. It was a very good matchup. I said this in a WrestleMania series type of video, that I said this was one of my favorite matches, mainly because the Rockers were bumping and selling well for the Twin Towers, and the Twin Towers looked like a real good team, mainly because the Rockers were selling and making the Twin Towers look like a threat as a legitimate tag team. And thus you got what you got. You had Shawn Michaels do a lot of bumps. You had Marty Jannetty play first face and Pearl, and you just had a lot of good stuff in this matchup and a lot of good selling. The Rockers working over the Twin Towers' arms and the body parts to sort of ground them down, because they were two big guys, and the Rockers were just doing whatever they can. And it also saw some nice moves by the Rockers. And then, of course, the ending, which was pretty sick, when Shawn Michaels tried to go for Hurricanrana or something like that, or he tried to do something to Hakeem, but or Big Boss Man, and he got power bombed, and then he got splashed by Hakeem. Just an overall good matchup, and I enjoyed it, and it told a real good story, and that's why I have it at number 25. It's one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time, and it's in my top 25, which ironically is 25. So yeah, I recommend anyone to go check out that. Watch WrestleMania 5, watch that matchup. I believe that's like the second matchup on that card. Watch that and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. A very good matchup. Number 24 is from WrestleMania 9. It was between Shawn Michaels and the Native American Tatanka. This was a very good matchup. This had everything. This was going well and it was flowing well. You had Tatanka working over the arm of Shawn Michaels playing the Cowardly Heel, and the story played well into the matchup. The only problem I have, though, even though I do think this was a good matchup and probably one of the better matches at WrestleMania 9, was the fact that ending, that they had this match end in a count out, when really they could have ended it any other kind of way, with some sort of a DQ or some sort of a cheap win or something like that. They had to end this by a count out. I didn't like that, but overall, before the count out, this match was going real well, and it was playing real well into the story was playing real well into the matchup, with Tatanka just dominating and Shawn Michaels playing the Cowardly Heel, and that's why I got it at number 24. Number 23 is from WrestleMania 21. Now, I wanted to put this on my top 10 of my top 10 lists as I'm going through this video, but I felt this was a decent matchup. It was lacking a little bit of stuff, but it was still a good matchup. I enjoyed it. And this was The Undertaker versus Randy Orton from WrestleMania 21. This was a very good matchup. You had The Undertaker be The Undertaker. You had Randy Orton determined to break the streak of The Undertaker, and Randy Orton taking The Undertaker to the limit, even reversing a tombstone pile driver and hitting the RKO, which I thought was the end of that. And it just had a lot of drama and emotional moments in this matchup, and it made you think that Randy Orton was going to end The Undertaker's streak, although there was a rumor going around at that time that they were going to actually have Randy Orton end The Undertaker's streak, but they decided not to because Randy Orton said he didn't want to be the guy to end the Undertaker's streak. But overall, this was a very good matchup. I enjoyed it. It did what it needed to do, and it solidified Randy Orton as a big player, and that's one of the reasons why he's in the position he is now and why he's what he is now, because of this matchup. Undertaker pretty much made Randy Orton in this matchup, and after this matchup, Randy Orton's stock began to rise, and he became the legend killer and became the person we all know and love. Number 22 is from WrestleMania 18. It's The Rock versus Hollywood Hogan. Now, the in-ring wrestling was all right. I mean, it was good for what it was, but again, like what I was saying in the Warrior versus Hogan matchup in my WrestleMania 6 review, the crowd is what pretty much made this matchup, as you had both crowds split between these guys. You had the crowd, the majority of the crowd cheering The Rock, and you had most of the majority of the crowd cheering Hollywood Hogan, and they were just going through this. They were just cheering throughout the whole matchup and pretty much made the matchup. They pretty much popped for everything in this matchup, and that's what kind of made this matchup what it was. Now, this matchup hasn't really aged that well over time, but just to hear the crowd reactions of two of the biggest names from the past and the present, or the past and the future, is just good enough to make this matchup on my list, and that's why I got it at number 22. Number 21, ironically, is from WrestleMania 21. It's the first Money in the Bank matchup. This was really good. You had a lot of good spots. You had Shelton Benjamin, who was the MVP of this matchup. You had, I believe, Edge was doing some nice spots in this matchup, and everybody had their spots in this matchup, and there wasn't one guy that was left out. But like I said, Shelton Benjamin was the real MVP. He was doing some sick moves. He did a sick T-bone suplex off of the ladder to Chris Jericho. He did some other moves with his acrobatic skills off the ladder. And it was just a very enjoyable matchup, and I believe Edge ended up winning. Forgot how he won, but he ended up winning, and thus he would be the first Money in the Bank winner, and then he would eventually cash his Money in the Bank or become the equal opportunist with the Rated R gimmick. Overall, I enjoyed it, and that's why I got it at number 21. Number 20 is from TLC 1. Is the first TLC. Now I wanted to put TLC 2. I still think TLC 2 is way better than TLC 1, but this was the matchup that pretty much made both of these tag teams and put these tag teams on the map. You had the Hardy Boys do some sick spots. You had Bubba Ray Dudley do the sit-out powerbomb off of the ladder to Jeff or Matt Hardy, which was nasty. You had Jeff Hardy do a swanton outside of the ring off of the ladder to the table. You just had so many spots that it was so hard to keep up with them, and it was a very good matchup. And in the end, I believe Edge and Christian ended up winning. But overall, this was a good matchup, and it made both tag teams. And I still think their other two ladder matches that they had were better than this, but it's still one of my favorite matches, and it's a very guilty pleasure, and it's probably one of the best matches at WrestleMania 2000, even though there's a triple European Intercontinental title matchup. But yeah, I got it at number 20. Number 19, even though some people may hate it, or won't like me putting it on here, is Triple H versus Owen Hart. Now, these two had a very underrated rivalry in the WWF around 1998, which revolved around the European title and Triple H not wanting to face Owen Hart, and then the feuds. They had their match finally at WrestleMania 14. This was a very good technical type of matchup. You had Triple H working on the ankle of Owen Hart. You had Owen Hart beating Triple H down and using his technical moves in this matchup, and you had Owen Hart do some nice high flying moves in this matchup. It was just a very good matchup, and I still think it's one of the most underrated WrestleMania matches of all time, and one of the matches people don't talk about. Anyhow, stay tuned for part 2 where I go through the rest of the list.